Also, I'm gonna try to do more album reviews. I know someone really wanted me to make those videos, and because I ran out of songs to upload, literally every time I try uploading a song, it gets blocked or whatever. And so instead of doing that, I'm gonna try to make more original stuff, and I'm gonna try to review all those Touch Gambino albums because I know you guys really want to see that. So yeah, bye, I guess. And I'm really sad because I spent so much money on them. I have so much of their merch. I went to their shows, and I even have some of their physical albums, but it's okay because, you know, it's physical, which means I can listen to it whenever I want and nothing bad happens. I'm so happy about them. And yeah, I remember even before this happened, I thought it was weird how the members kept leaving and like all of them left on bad terms. Like, have you noticed that like nobody left the youth on good terms? And I always felt like Bert or Jeff were like bullying everyone out of the band. Cause like, I don't know, it seemed to be a common denominator, and now I see it's true. So yeah, that happened. And eventually Quinn is probably going to talk about more stuff that happened, and I'm gonna be listening. And eventually, depending on how bad it is, I really didn't want this to happen, but eventually I'm gonna have to stop streaming this stuff. And I'm gonna have to get rid of their merch probably, or just change it. And I spent so much money, and now I can't get it back. It's okay because nobody told me to do it. Nobody told me to listen to them. Nobody told me to buy their stuff or go to their shows. I did it all on my own, and I'm not gonna feel bad about it. I also saw that there were people who were talking about something that happened at one of their other shows a long time ago. I think it was more like after the show, but there was like a picture of like there was a picture of Bert like with a fan, and the fan had a shirt that said something like "Kiss me, Bert McCracken," and in the next picture they actually did a little kiss. And then a bunch of people on Twitter were like, "Oh my god, that's a child, Bert is kissing a child." And you know, the truth is he probably was, but at the same time he probably wasn't, because I don't know, I can't really tell that person's age. Probably we know it could have been a grown adult or not, but either way it's still weird. I don't know why people want to kiss their fans. It's gross. But yeah, I was hoping that after the all-time low shows were announced, that like they would see that everyone was like against it, so that they would be like, "Oh, we didn't know, or we're canceling it or whatever." But they didn't. They saw everyone complaining. They saw everyone talking about what all-time low has done, and they did nothing about it. They played the shows anyways. And I remember I was really upset about that, but like after that everyone was acting like nothing happened, and they were still tweeting and posting, acting like normal. So I was like, okay, maybe I was just overreacting. But yeah, it's weird. And if you don't know what All Time Low did, I guess I should link it. I really hate putting links in my bio, but I'm gonna have to add so many because I'm talking a lot for once. Yeah. And there was another time I was on Pinterest, and I saw that there was a meme of the youth that somehow made it onto like the general meme part of Pinterest, like even people who weren't looking for the youth. So like there were a bunch of random people commenting on it. It was like a harmless meme, whatever. I don't remember exactly which one, but it wasn't anything too crazy. But I went to the comments, and one person said that they saw them live in 2015 with Pierce the Veil, whatever. And they said that they were like 14, I think, and that there was like there were like a bunch of mannequins, and they had like bondage or whatever, and that Bert was like doing some weird stuff. And I was like, that's weird. Why would you do that at like what I'm assuming was an all ages show? Because there was a child there clearly, and in the comment they're obviously weirded out by it. Yeah. I'm sure if I look hard enough on YouTube I'll find videos of that, but I'm not even gonna look. Oh yeah, so then there was also another thing that weirded me out. I was looking for a certain piece of merch that they had a long time ago, from like years ago. So I was like looking on a website that had like, pretty much that. And there was like a shirt, it says something like, I want to have Burma Kraken's filthy, dirty babies or whatever. And okay, I thought it was pretty funny. But then next to it was also the same shirt, but in kids sizes. And that's weird. I don't really think the band itself was in charge of that, but like, I don't know, I just found it very weird. And I also think it didn't age well, because now that he actually has kids, it feels like he's calling them dirty and filthy. And yeah, so when this happened a few days ago, this is when I was like, okay, enough is enough. There's too many red flags here. I've had enough of you, and I don't support them anymore. I want nothing to do with them. So a lot of people, I feel like they don't really get this right, but Bert, who everyone says that is the person who's being accused, and I'm pretty sure it is him. A lot of people don't know that he was like the last original member to join the group. Like when all the members were there, they still like needed a singer, and he was like the last one to join. And he joined there because his friend Quinn was already in the band. Quinn is the person who accused him. And so I'm just saying like what I remember reading. I don't know if I'm right, but basically Quinn and Bert were like childhood friends and whatever. And they were friends for a long time, and shortly before Bert joined the band, he went to jail. He went to jail for having meth or whatever. And I think he got like kicked out of his house, so he had to move in with Quinn. He moved in with Quinn and Quinn's parents. And from what I know is that so Quinn was already in the youth, and then I don't know, I'm probably getting this wrong, but he was probably like, oh hey, we need a singer, do you think maybe you could audition so you have something to do, and not just doing nothing. And so then Bert auditioned, and then they're like, okay, yeah, this is the person we want to join our band. And I don't know how long they both lived in this house, but I know that Quinn moved out of his parents' house, and even after he left, Bert was still living there. So Bert was living with Quinn's parents, and that was it. So yeah, basically, Quinn helped him get in the band and gave him a place to live, and I'm gonna be honest, gave him everything. And this is something that a lot of people already knew, but that Bert was very addicted to many things. And when he was addicted, he was like a terrible person. Like so many people say that he was, not a very good person. And it's something that I already knew, even when I was like a really big fan. But like what I thought was that once he got clean, back in like 2012, I think, I thought that was when like he changed and he stopped being, rude and terrible and stuff. Yeah, and I remember in the album that came out that year, he even like had a song where he was like, he never meant to hurt anyone and he can't take it back, blah blah blah. So I genuinely thought that he changed for the better, and probably so did other people who did not know in real life. But after the thing that was shown a few days ago, I actually saw a lot of people saying that he was actually still really rude recently, up until like 2020, they say. And that means he was like sober for 8 years and he was still being rude to people. I see too many people being all like, oh well, he was mean and abusive and whatever, but that was because he was under the influence. But if that was true, then why isn't he like, okay, if he's supposedly not a bad person anymore, wouldn't the best thing to do right now would be to like apologize and like own up to everything? But he's not doing that right now. Everyone's not. The youth is acting like everything's totally normal. They're posting. Everyone keeps telling them, oh, can you talk about this? And they're just like ignoring it. So that just shows that they really didn't change it up. You're just a terrible person. That's all there is to it. And you did change, you would have talked about it. And I also found it weird that Quinn was kicked out after like over 10 years of being in the band. And it's like it it just never rubbed me the right way. And it wasn't on good terms. I already knew that. And I don't remember where I saw it, but I also heard that Quinn claimed that the band stole all his ideas and used them as their own. I mean, mostly Bert. Mostly Bert was the one taking ideas. And he says that those were all, he came up with all that stuff, and Bert was taking credit for it. And I already heard about that, but I didn't really look into it too much. And I thought that even if it was true, that it wasn't any of my business, that I'm sure that Quinn and Bert each have their own side of their story, and whatever happens, it's not my problem. But now that Quinn is making a post about it and everyone's looking at it, it's what he wanted. So now I can't say it's not my business. Now he's making it everyone's business. So I can't ignore it any longer. And something that I noticed is that I feel like the youth has always had some weird stuff going on. Well, not always, but like lately I've been noticing, like, I don't know, they're not very great. The first time it happened was when I was at their show, like a while ago. So like the first band came up, and then they started rating the set, blah blah blah, and then the second band came up, and then again they started rating the set. They were getting ready for the youth, and there were like a bunch of people who were like wearing shirts that said like the youth crew member. And then I was bored. I was just like looking at the stage, and then there was like a big sheet or whatever, and like I saw between the sheet and like whatever else was on the other side that like I could see like backstage, right? And then one of the crew members, I saw some of them, and then one of them like just like looked over at me, and like I think they peeked through, and then it looked like they were like signaling me to go over there, go there. It was weird. They were going like this. And it might have not been me. It might have been the person next to me or behind me or in front of me, whatever. But I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh my gosh, that person made eye contact with me. But then when I got home the next day, I told that to one of my online friends, and then he said that they were probably inviting me to go there. And I just left it off. I was like, that's kind of weird. And yeah, the next time I got really weirded out was in December when they announced that they were gonna be doing shows with All Time Low. That really pissed me off so bad. And I remember they got ratioed hella bad on Twitter. Like literally nobody was defending them. And I saw that they were like, okay, so there's like this whole, and then there's like this whole group of people who do not like the youth, and they never have. Yeah, I used to kind of agree with them back in like 2018, but then I changed my mind eventually. And when the All Time Low shows were announced, they were all like making fun of us. They were like, oh, you guys are always like, oh, the youth will never do this, the youth will never do that. Well, now look at you guys. I'm like, okay, well, personally, I never said it, but I do know people who have. That's why I don't like talking to people on Twitter. So a few days ago, I was bitching and moaning on Instagram about something that happened that you guys probably didn't know what I was talking about. And basically, in the past, I have uploaded a video of this, and I also made an Instagram post. It was of my favorite band and how I saw them in concert and whatever. Well, a few days ago, a former member accused the member who was still in the band of abusing him mentally and physically. Yeah. I don't know if you guys have seen those videos that I posted, but they were like my favorite band ever. Like, I always thought that not that they could do no wrong, but like they hardly did anything wrong.